Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 21 of Talking Headless. I'm Paul Greenberg. I'm your host at this time. That is fraught with meaning. So you'll find out as the show develops this morning or this afternoon, excuse me, depending on where you are. You'll find out what that means because there's big news. And look, we know AI is everyone's big news. I think this is even bigger. And as far as this being episode 21, well, here's the deal. I'm very right brain, so I don't really think I count very accurately either. So it may be episode 22, maybe episode 20. Don't hold me to the number. Anyway, we have actually a very different show and a very important show. And before we get to it, though, I do want to give you some PPN news so that you see where we're going. We are in the midst of a significant transition at PPN, a good one, but a very significant one. It's sort of we're growing the thing. We had a very successful, as you know, I think IRL 2025, and we had about 100 people, including today's. Well, I'm not even. I'll call him a guest, but you'll get it later. So we had a remarkable. Basically, it was a community event that had a conference attached. It was extremely right brain, right? We talked about culture, we talked about gaming, we talked about sports, and guess what? As a result of that, we're starting to build our lineup for the rest of this year into 2026, and there will be an IRL 2026. And that lineup includes a show about behind the scenes of sports. And it'll be run by a guy who I'm not going to say who he is because he's currently the CIO of a significant professional sports team, but he won't be when the show starts because it's he's doing some things on his own. Secondly, we're going to be doing a show on PC and video gaming, which I will be doing along with a co-host. I won't tell you who that is until he gives me permission, and that will be coming. We're also going to be doing a limited series, which will be highly educational, almost course-like, being hosted by the incredible Jesus Hoyos, who, of course, is a long-standing industry analyst and educator and practitioner and awesome human being, and pretty much owns Latin America when it comes to our world. And Brent has a show he's going to be doing where he's going to be looking at financial results and kind of to go through that. And we have a couple of other shows, which I won't go into because let's say who's going to be doing them is uncertain. But I can tell you with certainty, we're also bringing back No BS with Bob Stutz, and we're bringing back Whispered Insights with Esteban Kolsky. And with all of that, today's show here kind of is in that mode, okay? My guest today is somebody who you are, if you're in the world of, I'll call it enterprise technology, I guess, if I want to give it the big picture name, you're going to know this guy. He is an analyst. He's an advisor to companies. Does extraordinary market research. He's a personality. He's a kind human being. I mean, this guy is just kind of got it all. He's one of these people, when you meet him, two things happen. The first thing, when you meet him, and we'll reminisce a little about how we met when we talk, but one of the things when you meet this guy, you immediately recognize what a good human being he is. And then he talks, and then you start realizing how smart he is and how much he actually knows too. But the first thing will always be, it's just like this thing that he does that makes him, right away, you recognize what a humanitarian and empathetic person he is. Now, there's something we're going to be talking about shortly. I'm leaving that to when he's on, but I'd like to introduce analyst, advisor, friend, and something else, Shashi Bellamkonda. Welcome, sir.
Hey everyone, Paul, what a wonderful introduction. Probably one of the best in my entire life. So thank you so much for that. So,
Well, we have Alan Berkson already looking forward to seeing you and me at IRL
hey
2026.
Alan,
See, he's ready, and that actually is, I believe, a slide of him speaking at IRL 2025, right?
yeah,
He did the storytelling thing. So, Shashi, tell me this. It's up to you. I'm going to leave this up to you. Do you want to make the announcement now? Or you want to chat a little while? What do you want to do?
let's chat a little while.
Okay.
And I'm sure a lot of people will be wondering about why I'm on this show. But I wanted to just remember our own journey, how we met. Like it's almost 15, 16 years ago when
Amazing.
Cisco had first introduced a smart camera that would actually identify who's speaking and move the camera. Gosh, how times have changed and how technology has changed so much, right?
Well, you know what's
It's
funny on that camera? If you think about it now, you just go, so what? Every camera does that, right? So I remember because I literally have a camera that does that, right? And it's the portable camera I take on the road for doing CRM players or PPN stuff when we're on the road, right? So it's like routine, but we. So actually, I actually have a question for you in that because that was what it probably was. I'd say, well, 15, 16 years ago. So that
yeah,
puts it at what, 2007 or 8, let's say.
yep.
2007, 8. So if you're looking at your entire career from the beginning through then on to now, what are the really gigantic nodal points in that career as far as you're concerned? It doesn't have to be, the internet, I mean, which is obviously the biggest one to date. Although I'm going to have a question actually, because I have all these. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to forget that question. I'm going to ask you this question now because this thing drives me crazy when I hear it. So I want to hear what you have to say. I have all these people saying AI is more important than the internet, and it's going to be more important than the internet, and is more important than the internet. What do you think?
I think technology as such has always been important to people. One of the most important things that's happened to us, and it's not just AI today. I mean, AI has been around, in my opinion, at least for 15, 16 years, and I've actually interacted or used it at least 7, 8 years ago. But if you look at technology, I think the one message that as human beings we'll have is what we did today and what we did yesterday may not be the same thing we'll do tomorrow. So we always have to keep up with how our life is going to change, right? So I think if AI is the most important thing, probably somebody else will come in and say 10 years from now, quantum computing will be the most important thing. So it's just a matter of opinion. Is it going to make life different? Yes. That's how I think about it.
Well,
What about you?
well, see, okay, so here's the deal. I am one of these people who don't believe in. To me, that comparison is a completely bogus comparison. Without the internet, there is no AI. No AI in its contemporary form. Without AI, functionally, let's say this: could there be quantum computing? To your point, without AI, yeah, there can. But with AI, it's going to help accelerate a lot of the pieces that have to be put in place for quantum computing to transform the world. There are transformational points, and the future transformational points almost always, if not absolutely always, will build on the past ones. So is one more important than the next? No. They're they're valuable and useful at the time they're valuable and useful. And in the case of the internet, it's valuable and useful forever. Right? In the case of AI, it probably is the same forever. We're starting to see it integrated. Like we were talking earlier, I have a voice transcriber here, a voice recorder here that's got agentic AI built in, and I'm already using it nonstop. And this thing's become part of my life. And the day you say part of my life is the day that thing becomes really important, right? So, to your point, absolutely, I agree. These are transformational moments. They build on each other. They're different. I mean, just is. I'm sorry to divert, but that's one thing that I keep hearing it. I'm just want to not hear it anymore.
I mean, I would just say, like, I belong to a time when we used to actually write letters and mail them. The
Amen.
stamp collecting was a big thing.
Oh yeah, are you a stamp collector? Were
I
you
used to be a stamp collector, yes,
coins
and not
too?
uh, all. I've left all these hobbies now, but to think about it used to take like 5 6 days, especially if I sent a letter to India. But now, I mean, I think my dad knew about the time I was born because of something called a telegram, which nobody knows now.
Wow,
But
wow.
now, just in a few milliseconds, the news gets so it's solving a problem of communication, just like your agentic AI is solving your problem, where you don't have to keep remembering things, and it's going to tell you what is recorded.
Amen,
And
Marta.
yeah, hey Marta, nice to see you.
Yeah,
So
she's
I also want to say, like, your players network, right? I've been following the CRM players, God knows, gosh, like, for a very long time, almost I think 20 years. And Brent
well,
and I actually
it's 16 years old. So
16 years. Okay,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, time passes so fast. So it was very focused on CRM, and people at that time didn't even know what the term CRM was. So it was a good way to learn. So just like how things have changed, you also have evolved. I mean, it's not that you know more about what is the future of CRM because you know what it has been in the past, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, yes and no. I mean, look, I'm retiring, so from my standpoint, I'll know less and less, as it goes on. I may know more and more about other things. By the way, I'm actually about 4 years ago, I started again collecting stamps and coins.
Oh,
Just
nice.
letting you know, I'm back to collecting, and I got a pretty substantial collection. So that's when you said that, it kind of threw me for a second. But look, the thing with I've been thinking about it, obviously, because I do all the time, and I was thinking about CRM itself, and I was seeing this. I've been seeing these articles talking about how some of the vendors are getting so invested in AI and being an AI company and this and that, and they've been CRM companies, and there's a result of that. They're starting to lose customers because they're not doing the blocking and the tackling that um, that need to be done at the businesses that already use CRM as it has been. Now, look, obviously, I actually have thought about it, and I've always felt that the best approach I've heard when it comes to the CRM community and AI and things like that has been Oracle's, really. Oracle CX. I mean, Oracle CX basically said this: look, you work, you're a human being, you do work. Okay, what we're going to do is provide you with AI to help you work better. And guess what? Because it's just part of your work, we're going to give it to you for free to help you in your work. If you've got Oracle, it's going to be an update and you got it, right? That's the right approach to think about it. AI as an augmenter. I mean, I honestly, if it weren't for Skynet, there'd probably be a lot less discussions of AI as a sentient force. Well, although you go back and Robbie the Robot and what was that movie? Can't remember. It's the 1950s sci-fi movie. But there's always been like robotics and stuff. But AI, it's Skynet, has been the literal creation of conspiracy theories around AI, thanks to that. And people forget that was a movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, multiple movies starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and a TV show, not actual, real. Although, can it develop? Sure. Will sentience develop? No. Again, AI is still created by a creator greater than it. So,
One of the things I was recently reading is the way human brain processes things is not always logical. It's not a single linear path. And
amen.
that's very difficult for AI to reproduce. Given all the factors, AI may have a better answer than us because it can spot patterns, do data, but human beings have an have a trait that I think is very difficult to duplicate even between two people. But I liked one word that you said, that is, you do your work and we'll help. We'll use AI at the back to make it easier for you. I think is something that everybody should remember and follow.
Well, you want to hear a very funny almost example? It's actually IRL related, IRL 2025 related example of the use of AI and why it's different than people. And it's a good example. So if you remember IRL 2025, we had a bourbon and donuts tasting.
Yep.
Right? All right. And oh, by the way, I already have next year's plan. It's very interesting.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, it's going to be a little different. It still will be alcohol and food, but it'll be a little different. Anyway, so what I did for that, originally I was going to do what I do, right? Because I'm pretty good on the spirit side and I like donuts, certainly. And I donuts from Atlanta, which are, if you had any of them, they're really great donuts.
Yep, they're like
truly great donuts. Well, I decided, you know what would be cooler? Rather than me just picking, why don't I use 5 different AI platforms to help me? So I used like Copilot and Perplexity and Claude and Gemini and ChatGPT. And I said, all right, here are the donuts, the types of donuts we have, Boston cream, blah, 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 blah. Here are the types of donuts. And here's the price range for the bourbons. I want you to pair them up. Each of you pair them up and give me the reasons why this is a good pairing. And I did this. Now that's AI or human theoretically, but here's where it was different. I then had 5 different things, and there were a lot of overlaps, and at the same time, some differences. Now, if I had queried 5 people the same thing, and they gave me the same thing, answers, you would think, okay, well, obviously all 5 of them said this one. I would go with that one. But with AI, there's one thing people forget. It's drawing on the same sources. I don't care what platform you're using. It's still, so those 5 are drawing on the same sources all the way through. So instead, I use the outliers, right? The ones that weren't common, right?
Okay.
Because of AI, people forget is drawing from a similar pool, right? It's not, human beings are drawing from unique pools. Experience, yes. Pools of, quote, facts, which of course are not really facts. They're useful data does not make something absolutely truthful, right? But they're drawing on experience. Each of them is drawing on, and they're not picking the same. They may be picking similar sources if they're reading, but they're typically working from experience over years. It's not, and so 5 people are coming from 5 different places to do this. AI is coming from the same place, right? Regardless of the platform. That's the difference right there to me.
That's true. I mean, one of my tests is if I ask AI to write a joke, all the LLMs will give me the same joke in different forms. On that note, Paul, like for people who see this video when it's not live or in other channels, can you just explain IRL a little bit, and especially
Sure.
for the analyst community?
So, well, we got to say hi to our buddy.
Hi, Sahil.
Sahil, how you doing, man? So he's what, 9.5 hours ahead? Because he's in India, so 9.5 hours ahead, and that is what, 9:30 at night, almost 10 o'clock. Thanks, Sahil, man. You're, as always, you're awesome. I love this guy. I want to call him a kid because he's considerably younger than me, but he's a grown man, right? But I love him, man. He's awesome. Anyway, yeah. So IRL stood for In Real Life 2025. It was a conference that CRM Players and Players Productions Network, which of course is the network we were discussing, earlier in the beginning of the show, did our first in-person event, and it was in the middle of January in Atlanta. Atlanta is not known for handling snow very well, which impacted us somewhat. We still had 100 people. We had sponsors. We had people from industry analysts. Shashi, you were among 27 industry analysts who were judges of the CRM Watchlist Grand Finale Awards, which, by the way, was very much appreciated by all the vendors who I sent along with the awards. I individually aside from the physical award, I sent emails with the names of, because I had everyone's permission, the names of the judges so that they would know these are the powerhouses behind the choice that picked you, one of the winners. So we had a thing where the live event was just incredibly well received. There were analysts, we had tech companies and the sponsors. We also had what we call tech exceptions, which were people and vendors who weren't sponsoring, who we just liked, right? And we had our friends like everyone who's commented here, except Sahil, who was coming, but something got in the way. But Marta was there, and she runs Henkel's, global CX initiatives. Of course, Alan Bergson was a presenter there. You were on panel there. I mean, this was like, it was a big deal, and it was Brent and I didn't know what to expect. And to be honest, what our expectations honestly were. No matter how bad or good it went, we'd have a good time, and that was pretty much it. And I remember the big discussion was people would send me notes saying, "What's the dress code?" And I said, "Dress code?" I said, "Come naked. We don't care. Come on. What do we care? Whatever you wanted to wear." I to be truthful though, I underdressed, man. I looked horrible. My wife pointed that out to me too. I said, "You look like a slob." I said, "Yeah, I actually do. I need to fix this." Right. So next year I will dress a little better, I promise. But that was, it was a community gathering. As Silvana Bouillon, who also came from Madrid, said, it was a community gathering that had a conference attached. Right. Basically. Yep. And it really was. So what did you think of it? I actually haven't really heard your feedback on it.
Yeah, I'll give you my feedback, but also I have another follow-up question is, since this is the Talking Headless show, for new people who are going to look at this show, I want you to tell what your vision is for the show. And
well, my vision is take off my glasses so I can't see it anymore. But here's the thing. All right. So when Talking Headless is a PPN network show, it's a show that evolved to, originally it was literally, it was in the world where headless was like the big term. So obviously you get the joke, the Talking Headless, right? It also was funny because I was the only person on it. So, basically it's saying, "Hi, Paul, you're a self-described moron," right? Right. So, but it was basically, I was being an analyst and I was doing a talking head kind of audio podcast. Then I made it a video podcast, and you can see that in the, I added the intro and the outro stuff, and that was cleaned up by our amazing graphics person, Chanel Wheeler, who has her own firm. If you ever want anyone for your own work, she is the one. She is extraordinary. So she helped clean up. We did the intro, the outro. We made it video, but it was still me. Then I broke it into segments, and then I started inviting an analyst guest on it. And then I decided, you know what? There are AR people out there, and the AR industry has never really gotten the recognition it deserves for dealing with the petulant people that
100%.
Analysts are, right? So I started bringing on a significant AR person, somebody who I knew and who I loved, and I do love some of these people a great deal, like, of course, Sandy Lowe and
everyone.
Kathleen about. Yeah, I do, but there's a certain group of them that are like my sisters, so, or my brothers, depending, mostly women though, I have to say. I brought them on and we would talk about things in AR. But, things evolve, and I'm also co-founder of the network and have other things to do. And when it came to vision, I realized time for me to start doing other things too. Initially it was 2. And then I started thinking, no, it's time for me to start doing other things, period. And then I was talking with Brent, and I said, Brent, I'm going to need someone to replace me in 2025 who we think would be because, we make decisions. We're very easygoing on each other's decisions, and he can do things without me and I can do stuff without him, but we actually do talk them through always. We said, who would be a wonderful, wonderful host who might change the nature of the show? That's up to them, but would be someone that I'd be thrilled to death to take my place. And we, of course, wanted to ask you, and we did, and you honored us by saying yes. So let's all welcome, and I'm going to clap, and if we won't be able to see a clap out there, but please do. new host of Talking Headless. For now, it's called Talking Headless. Shashi Bellamkonda. Yay!
Thank you, thank you.
And thank you for doing it too. A great deal.
No, it's a great honor. There's so much to learn. I mean, I believe always that you learn throughout your lives, except for a short break in school. Every day I wake up and say, like, today is going to be something that I learned new. So I'm going to follow your footsteps. Use this to. I also agree with you that the analyst space and analyst relations space doesn't get the recognition that it needs. So through this medium, we can continue the community that you have formed and make it more interesting. I like the format that you have, very easygoing, and I think Alan and Marta can also give their opinion on how things are, right?
Yeah, your camera's out. There you
Yep.
go. You're back. You're back.
Yep.
What
Yeah,
happened?
technology sometimes gives you these things. But thank you, Paul. I'm looking forward to that. So, yeah.
Well, we're also you look. I'm hoping, and I know you will, just make your own mark on it too. I mean, if you look, the one thing that we PPN will always do, we want obviously it's a PPN network show, and look at this, and
Yeah.
take my word for
Thanks,
it.
Alan.
Alan is one of my nonstop and trusted advisors in all of this stuff. I trust he's incredible. He's a fount of ideas. And the nice thing, I know people who are founts of ideas, but half of them are, they're balloons that float away, man. Alan's ideas are incredible. Right. So take advantage of that offer. Seriously.
I will, Alan. I'll reach back out to you. That's very nice.
Yeah. Again, he's an extraordinary person. So one of the things, though, it's your going forward, starting with next month's show. And I believe, although again, if you want to change this, we can at the point you want to. It's a monthly show. Are you still planning on doing it the last Wednesday at noon of the month?
Yes.
Or the closest to that as you can get?
Yes.
Okay, so it will continue, everybody.
Yes. So everybody, hoping to get your help in finding what subjects you want to be covered in this. It's going to be a very flowing, just like Paul and Brent and everybody in the Players Network do. Continue to help each other and help each other learn. So the next show will be on 28th of May. And the recording will always be available for people. Both Paul and I welcome ideas. How can we make this better? And at some point, if you all want it to be more frequent, we'll do that too.
Yeah, Matt, again, that's the thing, Shashi, you've got control. So you decide what you want. And, as long as it's within the realm of PPN, we'll do it, as long as we're capable of it. Some of the things people have wanted at times, we're not actually capable of doing because, we're.
Sahil wants to know what is the format of the show going further. So,
yeah, well, do you have? Yeah, again, you decide you want to drop it completely and turn it into, a show about actual unicorns. You can. It's literally your call. I mean, when I say unicorns, I mean literally the beast with the horn, right? It can be anything you want. So feel free. So let me ask you this now. All right, since you're the guy now, so this will be my final question of an interview that I do on this show. All right. In the world that you see going forward, we obviously know we've got AI here now. It's a given. From the standpoint, though, of practical mainstream application of AI, business application and consumer side application, what's your window? Do you see it never happening? Do you see it as big, gigantic niche, but always niche? Do you see it fully mainstream in, I don't know, 5 years? Where when does it become ubiquitous and just part of life?
I think that's already happening, but it's not happening the way people think. I think there is to be a change in the way people think about AI in isolation. I think they just have to think about what they're doing in their day-to-day lives or enterprises that are doing things. AI will always be part of whatever they do, but it will not be, there won't be a cutoff date in which they say, like, hey, AI is going to take over from today. I think almost 5, 6 years ago, Waze was using AI to give us directions. Amazon, Google, all of them are using. I mean, one of the things that I've written about is how search is changing. And AI is behind making it easy for you to find information as quickly as possible without going through a lot of links, right? So to answer your question, I think it's already here, but people don't have to worry about something that is taking over. You're going to continue to run your life, but AI behind the scenes is going to help you in almost everything that you're doing. Does that make sense, Paul?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm as I mentioned earlier, I'm already using it in multiple places.
Yep.
I don't use Google search at all anymore. I literally don't use it. I mean, if I'm stuck with it, I might, meaning it shows up accidentally. But the reality is I go to Copilot, I go to Perplexity, I go to whatever platform I feel like using. Typically, if it's a day-to-day question, I'll go to Copilot. But if it's something more detailed, I go elsewhere. Copilot's got some weaknesses on that front. But again, I'm building mind maps and organizing things out of this device, right? And it's ubiquitous for me. It's part of my daily activity. I use it for a lot of different things when I use it, right? I use the Meta AI sunglasses, and I use the AI. I use it to record videos. I use it to ask questions. I use it to identify stuff. I can keep going, but you get the point. So yes, and absolutely yes. To me, I'm exactly the same as you on this. It's basically, again, go back to Oracle, right? And just think of how you work. AI will help augment that work so that you can do all these things better. And that's literally what it'll do. It'll do it consumer side, it'll do it business side. And then it's doing what it needs to do, and it's never going away, ever.
That's
So
that's
thank you.
true.
Thank you. Even though I'm not a big fan of OpenAI as a company, thank you, OpenAI and ChatGPT, for starting all this. Even though you didn't start AI, you started the conversational part of AI, you started the natural language part of AI, you started the speed of return of a natural language query of AI. You did all those things that make it human, humanized. It's not human, never will be, but humanized. Anyway, that's
True.
it. That's it for me, man. That's it for me
Yeah.
all the way around. Now it's your baby. Officially, I wish I could hand you something through the screen, but I can't. I will when you come visit and we'll go to lunch, I'll give you something then. Right?
Yeah, it's good that we are all in the Washington D.C. area, and yeah.
That means we can have
So
lunch at Trummer's.
yeah, yes. So that's a very nice restaurant recommendation that you did. I think we decided to keep this short, but
Yeah.
going forward, we'll have an hour-long show last Wednesday of every month, as
All
long
right.
as
So you
the
said it
rules
was
are
Wednesday, May 28th at
May
12 p.m.
28th at
Eastern
12
time.
p.m. Yes. So I'm looking forward to people reaching out. I think we'd like to hear from analysts and from analyst relations folks on things that we can help them in their day-to-day lives. And please reach out to me on LinkedIn. And of course, please subscribe to the Players Network wherever you're watching this video, if you're watching it when it's not live.
And I'd like to say goodbye. I know the show is in good hands. Needless to say, it's not like goodbye, I'll never see you again. I'll literally see you tomorrow on CRM Players, where our guest will be our annual, one of our favorite events is our guest is CEO of Pegasystems, Alan Trefler. And as you remember, he is one of the classic moments in CRM Players history when we were talking about the metaverse, and he said, I think the key there is a verse, right? So, and he was right. So thank you all for bearing with me. Now you got somebody who can really take this thing forward, starting May 28th. And other than that, see you tomorrow and see you on a few other shows. Take care.
Thank you, Paul. Take care, everyone.
Mashed up and broken into two. I didn't know I was pretty till I took a look at you and I'm rolling. Yeah, I'm still rolling. Baby, there ain't nothing I can lose and I sure got the blues and rolling. Hey!
This has been a Players Productions Network digital broadcast.